Behind the Tab is a GoTab produced podcast that dives into the evolving world of hospitality through the lens of technology, creativity, and community. Each episode spotlights the game-changing innovations, real-world operator stories, and GoTab's own team members who are redefining what it means to serve and scale in modern food and beverage. Today, we're speaking to our partners at PourMyBeer and Chipshot Pickleball, Jacksonville, Florida's hottest new Eatertainment concept. Let's go.
Thomas is the owner and founder and brains behind the Chipshot Pickleball facility. It also has several other amenities as well. I'll let Thomas introduce himself, though. Thomas has a unique background, so I'd love for you guys to get a chance to know Thomas briefly in this introduction.
Yeah, we have 8 pickleball courts. We got 4 golf simulators. There we have TrackMan and Foresight. It's a technology we used on tour. We have a full brewery. We use 18 PourMyBeer taps, and we use GoTab as well for all of our POS integration. It's about 30,000 square feet, and we're rocking and rolling, just trying to entertain people and give them a good time.
Yeah, no, and I apologize. I should have introduced Tim at the beginning too, but Tim McLaughlin is founder and CEO of GoTab, one of our favorite partners, and I'm not just saying that because he's here. But Tim, if you want to introduce yourself, tell everybody where you're currently dialing in from.
Sure. Tim McLaughlin. I'm dialing in from Virginia. Glad to be here and great partners with PourMyBeer team. Josh especially, of course, because he's here. And very excited to be alongside Chipshot. Awesome client, beautiful facility. I want to make it there someday. I actually didn't realize, now I really have to go. It's also a brewery. As a side note, my wife owns 2 brewery restaurants, so I'm very familiar, and our products used oftentimes in breweries. So fun crossover detail there.
He wants our POS and our beer now.
Thomas and I have a shared home base. I started out my life in Virginia. Thomas spent his collegiate years in Virginia, but I was hoping maybe you could give a little window into your, life prior to Chipshot, just so people get a little chance to know you on the call.
Yeah, it might not look like I was a pro athlete, but I swear I was. So yeah, I graduated UVA, was 2-time All-American there, won ACCs individually as junior, had a chance to win a national championship, and then turned professional. And I played the last 5 years on the Korn Ferry Tour, which is the tour of the PGA Tour. Just kind of grinding on that. Always missing out on my PGA Tour card barely, battling through some injuries. And I got to see these entertainment facilities. I mean, I travel 30 weeks a year for the last 5 years. So, I've done 130 weeks of travel, and people think it's great. It's not nearly as great as it sounds. So I got to see facilities like Chipshot, that I thought were really great, that I thought I could improve on. So it's kind of where I came up with the concept in about 2020, right during COVID, 2021. And then, it took about 3.5 years to get to where we are now, but we've been open for 2 months, and it was cool to see it come to fruition. It was a lot harder than I thought. It was amazing. It was cool to see. It looked seamless. All this is hard to set up, but yeah, it's I think it's great, watching 200-300 people come into our facility, being able to sign up for a card and be their own bartender and use QR codes with GoTab, and really the whole thing's seamless. There's no checkout process. There's no waiting for the waiter or waitress. It really is, the power's back in your hands. You pay for an hour, you get an hour. You're not waiting for that awkward, can I have my card? Can I get another beer? There's none of that. The power's in your hands at our facility, which I really enjoy. And I hope other people appreciate.
Yeah. I actually, as a side note, Thomas, I just had a food hall operator call yesterday, and his customer base is switched entirely to QRs, and he's a food hall, right? So he's got some of the hard logistics that you have. And the challenge he was having is people who have habituated and gotten used to and actually really appreciate the fact that they can actually sit down and have a meal together, which is something in a, sort of a low service environment, which is most pickleball facilities, you don't have a lot of staff standing around, waiting to take orders.
Yeah.
I think one of the challenges is how do you still have a great experience if you're standing in line at a counter or doing all these other things?
Well, and I think it's like, the thing when you go to these massive entertainment complexes in Florida, they're roller coasters, and you're paying $300 for a ticket, and you're waiting for 90 minutes of lines every time you want to get on a ride. That doesn't. I really wanted to create something where you show up for a 7 o'clock reservation. Most people get there 5 to 10 minutes early. Our process to check in takes about 30 seconds, and you are on your court over at 6:57, and you can scan your order in, and it's in by 7, and you're playing for the hour. And then by the time you finish your first 10 points, your food's sitting on your table waiting for you. So there's no waiting around, waiting in lines, killing time. You're paying for an hour, you're getting the full hour.
One of the things you shared with me, Thomas, that I think is important to share with the listeners as well is, I think a lot of times, it's that founder that brings the vision together, but then it's having the right partnerships, not just with companies like mine and Tim's, but also the food element. That was how to get on a par 5 and 2, but getting a food and beverage operation up and going is a little bit different skill set. And I'd love for you to kind of share that story, because I think that's a powerful story. As an entrepreneur, I really loved hearing that. So I don't know if you'd be willing to share that as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm an open book. I think I don't consider myself a restaurateur. I mean, even though I am now, sadly, but it's when we first pitched this idea 4 years ago, I kept getting a resounding, "This is a fantastic idea. I'll do it." I mean, I pitched it to every person who was of significant wealth in Jacksonville. And it was, "This is great. I'll do it." Big red flag in everyone's investor's mind is a restaurant, right? You either, it's a classic saying, restaurants, they either do great or they die. There's no in between. And investors, that's a high risk investment. So and I didn't pretend to tell anyone I knew how to run a restaurant. So, I just said, "Who's the best restaurateur in Jacksonville? You just tell me who it is. I'll go figure it out." And they gave me the family. Their name's the Adibs. They're a great family. They have a restaurant called Bono's, which is about 55 Bonos. They go from Jacksonville all the way out to Denver. And then we have another brand called String Sports Brewery, which is more of a sports bar. So that's what we have here. We have a full smokehouse and brewery. They make their own beer. We also serve all the other beers you could find, but we smoke all our meats. We have the barbecues, the wings, the chicken, the burgers, the whole thing. And it's been great, because all these things that I would have to learn in the restaurant industry, setting up, cleaning services and food distributors and alcohol distributors. And the list is endless. I didn't know about any of this. I had someone I could lean on, walk me through it, and get me in with a group that already does 70 restaurants and get me into their process. I didn't have to invent any of them. So I was able to take their process and seamlessly move it into my idea. And, instead of being a franchisor, he's part of our company. So we're all partners together, because I know the value of that. Can you put a price on 30 years of experience? If you need someone to burn a par 5, you call me. You don't ask for me to give you a lesson.
No. Again, I think that's such a valuable lesson to anyone listening. It's knowing enough to know you don't know everything, right? It's and then bringing those partners in that fill in those gaps where you may have as an owner and operator. Cool. Looking through this project, Thomas, I know you explained to me some of the, I think the previous tenant, there were some challenges with the previous tenant to get out in time, but then they got out like instantly. I thought, I don't know, maybe I'm a glutton for punishment, but I love the war stories that people have, because a lot of times they just hear, we found a space on like the 12th place we visited. And then, we put the LOI and they accepted it on the first terms, but without getting too gory, I'd love for you to share kind of that process.
Well, I think the problem was, if I knew how hard this was, I might have never done this. But the problem is, I'm so far down the road, I have to do it now. So, I was like, I got this idea. I'll just find a facility, pay the cash, build it, move on. No problem. Done deal. I'll raise the money. I raised the money. No problem. I got it done. And every step is about 100 times harder than I thought. Finding these facilities with certain ceiling heights, certain width between the poles, making sure it has the correct utilities. You go to the United States and there's 50,000 places to lease. You put in all the stuff you need, 12. Literally, I'm getting it down to 12 in 50 states. And they are gone like that. This one was on the market for 2 days, maybe. And it was like sharks in the water. You're putting down deposits to secure negotiation that takes 5 months. And once you take your 5 months to get through the negotiation to sign the lease, then the old tenant now is pissed that you're kicking them out, even though they didn't want to sign. So they're going to play a little tug of war with you and say, oh, well, so we were supposed to start construction February 1st. February 1st. So they were supposed to be out basically closing their business January 1st. And it was an old gym, take 30 days. I mean, you got to remove 50,000 pounds of equipment, squat racks. I mean, it's a 30,000 square foot gym. It's a huge place. And they played a little game of chicken and egg to try and mess with me. And they didn't close their business till January 22nd, 8 days before. And I have to get contractors contracts because they, a demo crew has to start, they need 30 days notice. And we only have 6 months to build. I mean, there's so many details. It's not worth trying. So long story short, they get a huge crew in here, and I'm here 3 days before, and it doesn't look a bit different. And I'm like, oh, these, I don't have a temper, but I was getting real darn close. And they work for 72 hours and move all of it out. And I didn't even know. I didn't go there for 2 days because I was so pissed off. And all of a sudden, everything's gone. And so now I'm begging my GC, get the contractors out here. This is my first ever construction project. Like, give me a hammer, a mallet. I'll do it. I don't need you guys. And we started 11 days late, which, you don't think is a lot. It adds up really, really fast because, then we found out we were lied to about the bathrooms and got told the bathrooms were to code. You ripped the drywall off. The aluminum studs were not to code. They weren't a heavy enough gauge. So then all of a sudden, change order, redo bathroom. I mean, it just is endless. And as my first time, I'm like, just build it, move on. So we were supposed to open August 8th, and we opened August 26th. And I planned all this 3 years ago. So I only missed by 21 days, and we started construction 11 days late. So, I only missed really by about 10 days. But my wife didn't see me a lot. I thought she was going to kill me. So, I was at the end of it. I was on lifts, hanging up soundboards and cutting holes in drywall. And honestly, PourMyBeer was great. We kind of screwed them when they showed up for the install. Our electricians were nowhere near where they should have been. And I told the guys, I'm like, hey, go to my golf course, go enjoy a few hours, let my electricians focus on your thing and get us where we need to get to. And we didn't even have GoTab in it. And you have to have GoTab in it, but the warrant. So it was a complete crap show. So it all worked out. A lot of yelling, a lot of like, I don't think this is going to happen. But we're here now, and it's done. And it's equally as hard to do still.
So, well, again, sorry if I gave anybody some PTSD or stress from that, but absolutely, I have the same feeling. It's if I'd have known how hard it was, in 2010. But you need that adrenaline, you need that naivety, I guess. But it's worth it. I mean, again, looking at your facility now, clearly it's a testament to that.
I think every day. I think the great thing is. Like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know it was going to be that hard. So I didn't really mind waking up and doing the work because I was like, it's not going to be like this every day. It's like that every single day for like 200 days in a row. But then when you're out of it, you're out of it. Now, place is built, moving on. And I already got a permit in for the second one. So we're on to bigger and better.
Nice. And, you mentioned corporate business, which I thought was, I just got back from Michigan. I was up there visiting some locations that we have up there, and the same thing resonated. They said that's been a massive, I would say, maybe not shift, but that corporate business is there for the taking, because these companies they want places to bring their teams to and have events at, and like you said, a 250 person event. It's there is that concept of if you build it, they will come. But there's also the get out there and build that pipeline, like viewing it as an actual sales organization. You said you hired someone that's kind of doing that for you.
It's even way. We have a sales girl, but when you open, you're like, oh, if you build it, like you said, you build it there, come open the doors. First day we build it, like 6 people walk in the door, and I'm like, oh my God, like what's happening? We're in a great location. So, I like everything else. It's picked up quite a bit. But I had, we're printing out, Chipshot folders with our name on the front, catering flyers, flyer about our menu, catering menu, our sales girl, and I'm sending people out door to door. I mean, we did it for a month straight, or about 20 days straight. We were going to touching 20, 30 businesses a day, and they're working. I mean, the people are saying, and we gave them, 10% off your catering, or come in for your first free hour and all this stuff, and people are coming in because of that. So it takes some groundwork. Not only our sales girl's great when they come in. People are, they're just coming information. We're a first-time facility. Everyone wants to see it. It's like the shiny new car. They want to know and all that. But then once they get the price, people have had a great time. But just, we had to sell a lot to get them in here, and just to get to know we're here. It's, it's not, a lot of this crowd doesn't have social media, which I've learned. I didn't know there were people who didn't use social media. But we put a lot of money into social media, did fantastic our first 4 days, and that's about it. And because all the social media who people came, and now our regulars, most of them don't use social media because they're locals with parents. So we had to get pretty creative.
Well, I think
Curious, I wanted to get Tim's thoughts on this. That being said, like events and corporate events, specifically, structuring it with GoTab so you can easily transact, whether it's a bronze, silver, gold package, a per person, pre-purchase.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear, but Tim's thoughts on that, because you're seeing it from a macro level, and then also Thomas, from a micro level.
I can tell you, well, they're pretty common in the restaurant industry is a product called Triple Seat. I don't know if Thomas is using it or not.
I was going to say that.
Okay. And we do integrate with them, and it is getting better every day in terms of that integration. Events from an accounting perspective tend to be a nightmare because nobody manages their revenue correctly, and there's ways to do it right. Unfortunately, the restaurant industry is not super educated on it because a lot of people treat it like cash, and they recognize the revenue in the wrong month, and then all of your projections off and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But if you do it right, which we're happy to help people with, and we actually focus on doing that, then it can really drive your business. The profit's amazing, just as long as you put it in the right month.
Yeah.
And we see, they do kind of own the market in that event space. But the one thing, touching on Thomas's point, is email is one of the most effective ways to get in front of these people. Even though everybody's tired of email and we all think it doesn't work, if you're selling to corporate sponsors, email is actually a really great way to get in front of them. So, think about your CRM, think about your email campaigns, think about the strategies there, because it may be old and boring, but it does get you there.
Yeah, and we, like he said, we do use Triple Seat. It's nice. They take the payments. Our packages are uploaded to them. It's very specific. We don't really do anything. I mean, the packages is on there. We can customize on the back end, and I think it comes through GoTab as a deferred sales. I think they use PaySafe to process that through Triple Seat. Not sure, but yeah. I mean, look, I sent out $5,000 worth of flyers to people's houses in Jacksonville. I was actually looking at it. It's sitting right here. It's just a card, and it has Chipshot Pickleball Entertainment, and on the back it says, $5 there for your first pickleball golf reservation, and then all of our things on here. And we had to get pretty creative early, but it's events are great, and it is like the email list is very important. I know you guys are integrating. I know you're integrating with who we use for a reservation platform. They're called Open Court.
Yep.
You're in the process with them integrating with them, but we have access to everyone who comes here and plays pickleball. They leave us their phone number, their email, and they're part of our email list. We send out 6,000 emails every Monday, and we send one email out. So we, every Monday at noon, Chipshot gets you the schedule for the week. And I hate spam emails. I hate getting them every 3 days. So I have our team put them in one concise, clear email. Here's the Chipshot information for the week. You can delete it right up. But our list of people who open it, because we can see it opens, and it's actually staggering the amount of people who open it and view it and for how long. Because I really hate spam, the block messages that look bad. So we give one great looking image with our schedule, very concise. Here's what it is, and it's been working really well.
Okay, well, thank you if you've stayed here this long for today's Behind the Tab podcast. This is a pretty long one, so we've decided to drop this first cut, and you will be receiving the next cut next week. So remember to subscribe so you get notified when the new version is available. And I look forward to sharing more from our conversation with PourMyBeer and Chipshot. Thanks.